and having students take responsibility over the learning, which means having students that want to be in the room and want to learn because they want to learn. That is critical. That should be our number one aim. Hi, Richard here from Learn, Implement, Share. In this video I want to talk about choice. Choice is such a simple idea. Giving students choice. I mean, you think big deal. And I think when we talk about choice to teachers, a lot of teachers who don't really use choice much in class sort of either glaze over or they don't get the significance. And this is one of those strategies or pedagogies that is so profoundly simple and yet so profound in its power. So here's the thing. In a lot of my articles and a lot of videos, I talk about moving from in mathematics in particular, from a procedurally based approach to something that's more conceptual and more student-centered. So from a teacher-directed procedural approach to a more student-centered conceptual approach. The power in the student-centered aspect is this, that if I'm the teacher and my default mode of operation is teacher-centered, so I'm the fountain of all information, everything comes from me, I direct what you learn, when you learn and how you learn it. If that's my basic approach, and sure I throw in these other interesting activities here and there, but I always come back to this teacher-directed approach, right, the more traditional sort of approach. One of the problems with that, it doesn't engender student agency or students taking responsibility over their learning. And having students take responsibility over the learning, which means having students that want to be in the room and want to learn because they want to learn, not just because they're scared of getting into trouble or that they just want to get brownie points from their parents or the teachers, but they actually are interested in what they're doing. That's what I call taking ownership over their learning. That is critical. That should be our number one aim. But if I'm teacher-directed and I'm calling all the shots, it doesn't give students any opportunity to take charge, because they're not in charge of their learning. I'm in charge of their learning. So you have to go to a student-centered model to allow students the opportunity to take responsibility. And then I have teachers say, oh yeah, but what about, I've got 3 or 4 kids in my class, if I give them a student-centered approach, they won't do anything. Well, are they doing anything at the moment that's of any value, or are they only doing a bit of stuff just so as they keep out of trouble? So you're not going to lose on those. It's just that might not get any better for a while. But what about all those other kids that would just love the opportunity to have some choice about what they're doing, to take some ownership over their learning? So choice can come in a number of forms. It could simply be having a highly structured unit plan, but having the kids go through at their own pace. So their choice is, how much shall I do today? And especially if you lump the homework in with the lesson work. So if they've got the choice then to do more during the lesson so they have less homework or no homework, or they might be tired on the lesson and think, well, I'm just going to do this at home. Even that choice is a paradigm shift. But if you're, and this particularly applies, say, for humanities subjects, what if you've got certain outcomes you want to achieve, rather than say, right, everyone's going to write a blog and everyone's going to create a little video? Why not have a look at those outcomes and say, okay, well, you've got to generate this story. You could do a research article, you could create a video demonstration, you could create a PowerPoint, you could create an audio, you could interview someone, or you could do this or you could do that. Or maybe they've got to do, you set out 6 different options and they have to pick 3. Just doing that puts the engagement through the roof compared to saying you have to do these 3 things. Even though they might like those 3 things, by giving them a choice to choose that, it changes the world. I remember in year 11, we had this period of time in English where the teachers got together and threw the gates open and allowed us to do different things. And we could actually choose a song of our own liking and analyse its lyrics. Well, I was a prog rocker and I loved King Crimson, so I got a King Crimson song, which this was insane. I had no interest in English except for this one assignment where I could analyse the lyrics, and I was so engaged in that thing just because I had choice. So not only is it powerful for engagement, it is really powerful for allowing students to take responsibility. In that example that I just gave, I was in charge of my own little assignment. It was fantastic and I was super engaged. So the thing with choice is, I think a lot of teachers don't realise, particularly maths teachers, don't realise how powerful that is and how powerful the effect can be until they give it a go. And as long as they sort of implement it in the right way, it really surprises them. It's like, man, these kids, they had insights that I didn't even realise they were capable of. And that's because they've gone from this teacher-centered thing to something that's much more open. So all I'm saying is that giving students choice can really open up the doors to taking responsibility and also to engagement. And you'll see in most of your students a much wider scope of what they're capable of. That's my little tidbit for today. I hope you got something out of that. And if you haven't used choice much, maybe you have used a bit of choice and thought, well, actually I did use that once and it worked really well, I'd encourage you to use it more often. Thanks for watching. Hope you got something out of that, and I'll see you on the next video. Cheers.